Hi. Weird poll. What do you mean? Bananas or apples? It's a good poll. I want to know. Which one do you like more? How's everybody doing? Happy Friday to everybody. Hopefully everybody's doing all right this evening. Today we're going to be going over the weather. All of it. Across the entire planet. I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be nice, though? But mainly we're going to be covering, the Northeast, Hurricane Lee. We're going to be talking a little bit about the severe weather in Texas today. And also we're going to be talking about impacts beyond the United States and Canada. We do have some people that are from the UK that are watching right now. So we're going to look all the way over to the UK as well. So we got a lot of Team Banana people here. Although we did a poll yesterday. That's the reason that we have bacon and eggs, because we had a poll yesterday that said eggs or bacon. And then why can't I put eggs with bacon? And then everybody chose the other or the last option. And then so it looks like still people prefer eggs and bacon over the healthy stuff. Which I agree. I don't really eat that many apples or bacon. Yeah, hopefully everybody is doing all right. But yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Also, a cool little thing that we got out there right now. We got a little cam over here in Cape Cod Bay, where tropical storm force winds should be starting to pick up. As you can see, we got a little flag down there that is showing the winds, and you can see a little bit of ruffling, a little bit of shaking of the cam, lots of little ripples on this little inlet here with all these cool boats on there. Definitely wouldn't want to be on one of those boats, though. But yeah, so we got that, and we're going to be going over a bunch of other stuff. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So first off, what we're going to be looking at here is a cool graphic here by Craig Stetzer. And this is the estimated arrival of the tropical storm force winds. And the yellow is going to be the tropical storm force winds. And the orange there is going to be the hurricane conditions. And as you can see, let's go back a little bit. By around right now, pretty much, those tropical storm force conditions are starting to pick up there for Cape Cod Bay and Massachusetts. Then going into 12 a.m. on Saturday, that starts to pick up for Maine and Nova Scotia. And then by Saturday at 12 p.m., start to see some of those hurricane conditions there for Nova Scotia in the place that we are expecting this thing to make landfall. So if you live in any of these areas where that yellow blob or the orangey red blob is going over, you need to be, keeping in mind which time here that these are coming for your area, as we're getting pretty close to the landfall of this event. So essentially we're going to be starting to see a lot more accuracy of the timing, or not eventually, but right now, we're going to start to see a lot of the more accuracy in these timings. So I would trust this graphic pretty well here in determining on where the heaviest winds, the highest storm surge amounts are going to be coming through. And we'll be going over that obviously a little bit more in detail, but I just wanted to show you it because it's a really cool graphic there by Craig. Coming over to the current conditions here for Hurricane Lee, you can see Hurricane Lee is now a 965 millibar storm with 80 mile per hour winds. It is moving up to the north at 20 miles per hour. So remember, we were looking at this thing, it was down by South Carolina, Bermuda yesterday, and now it's all the way up here, kind of directly in line here with Delaware and Maryland, and it's moving up to the north pretty fast. 20 miles per hour is a pretty quick pace for a storm like this, and it's only expected to increase its speed even more. You just got here? Well, hello, Devin. Hello, Lexa. And hello, Duke. All right. But yeah, 80 mile per hour storm, 965 millibars, moving north at 20 miles per hour. And then coming over to our first little graphic here, as you can see, those tropical storm force winds are really going to be pushing into this region, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Long Island there on the very eastern tip of Long Island by around Friday, 8 p.m. Then Saturday, 2 a.m. is around when this thing's going to be getting close to or making are getting close to landfall, not making landfall, but getting close. And then, you know, probably around Saturday, 8 a.m., between Saturday 8 a.m. and Saturday at 2 p.m., this thing's going to be making landfall down here, because you got to remember, these are the estimated times of arrivals of the tropical storm force winds, and they're going to be outside of the main core of the storm. But yeah, then over here for you know, what is this, Prince Charles? Is it Prince Charles Island right there? I forget the exact name of it, but yeah, that's going to be at around Saturday 8 a.m. and then, you know, you could expect to see some elevated surge there. And also forget, is this New Brunswick? Sorry, I should have studied up a little bit more on the names of these before I went into this forecast, but yeah, so, you know, these are the estimated times of arrival. Put these in your calendar. You know, these are going to be pretty accurate here of when those, you know, tropical storm force winds are going to be starting, and they're already starting to start there around the Massachusetts area. If we come over to here to the to where the winds are on this storm, you can see that they're already pushing into, you know, the Cape Cod Bay area, Nantucket, and Cape Cod themselves, and this is going to continue up to the north. So, you know, over the next couple hours, this is going to be making its way near the New Hampshire coast, and then also Maine's coast, probably within like 6 hours or so from now, as this continues to move off to the north. Coming over here to the current cone, as you can see, things are pretty consistent. It does seem like Maine is completely out of the picture here for a landfall. We're still expecting this thing to make landfall as a tropical storm, so not a post-tropical storm anymore, an actual tropical storm, still with potentially a warm core, but it's going to be, you know, hit or miss on that. Could be cold core or warm core storm. But yeah, as it moves its way up to the north, Prince Edward, thank you, Prince Edward. Yeah, Prince Edward Island is going to be expecting that that post-tropical storm there, and it's going to stay a post-tropical storm, you know, all the way until it gets to south of Greenland, and maybe potentially even longer, which we will be breaking down as we extend the forecast even further and seeing what the impacts are going to be for the UK out there. Let's see, anything else that we can check that have really changed here. Still, the peak storm surge is pretty much the same, not really any changes that I can notice. So everything that we went over in the last forecast still stands for the forecasted storm surge. Coming over to the U.S. rainfall rates, you can see that we do have a little bit of an uptick here. It's been going up and down, but looks like we're seeing another little area here for 4 to 6 inches for Canada, also into Maine. And then it looks like Prince Edward is not going to really get too much rain out of this storm. Maybe 1 to 2 inches there on the western side of Prince Edward Island. And then for, you know, Cape Cod, for Cape Cod and Nantucket, we're talking about 1 to 2 inches of rain there as well. So that's pretty much the updated version of that. And other than that, not much has changed with really any of these graphics. Just you know, some more definite answers, and also, you know, those tropical storm force winds are starting to pull up here. Thank you, Barb Mac, for the 10 euros from the UK. All right. Donating to time out Mr. Top Fantasy. He seems to be obsessed with the idea. I mean, money talks. Just saying. Oh, funny. But everybody put birthday cakes in the chat for Barb Mac, and hearts in the chat for Mr. Top Fan. That was funny. Wait, did I hit the ban? No, I didn't hit the ban button. Oh no, I accidentally hit the ban button. No, I didn't mean to. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, I meant timeout. Sorry. But anyways, let's come back over here to the forecast. Don't worry, I fixed it, Mr. Top Fan. I think. Yeah, I fixed it. Okay. Let's stay focused. All right, so these are the current spaghetti model plots, and as you can see on this one, this is the model track guidance here. It does look like, you know, by around like 5, almost 6 days out from now, most of the models are bringing this pretty close to the UK. That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, although there is some track or some model tracks that are bringing this down to the south there for the UK, but, you know, things are remaining the same, at least on this model for everything, so I don't have any of them going into Maine. Same with this one, the GEFS tracks, with the, you know, maybe going a little bit slower as it tracks off to the east towards the UK region, but there's quite a bit of spread there. With this model, it's mainly to the north where there's a little bit more spread. So still some uncertainty, not a guaranteed New England impact. But look at that, you know, the pressures actually deepen a little bit as they get to the UK. Should still be an extratropical storm though, as the waters up there aren't too warm. And then this one has a lot bigger model spread as it tracks off to the east there. And then down here, no models with a landfall impact in Maine. All of them really still pointing at Nova Scotia there. So not much has changed. It looks like over the next couple of hours, and by a day from now, this thing is going to be a tropical storm, potentially making its way into that extra tropical storm. And yeah, so you know, it'll continue to weaken, and then as it moves off to the east, you know, over the next 120 hours, there is still a spread here for the intensity there. Yeah, I didn't mean to ban him. I meant to time him out. So that's my mistake. Ad removed. Nice. We always love to see that. Don't like to see the ads. Also, a little update over here. We do have an airplane that is about to make it pretty close to where this thing is at this point. It's getting pretty close to the center of the storm, so we might have some new data to talk about as that plane gets closer. It should make it there by the time we end the stream there. This is the current look. This is the current look here of Hurricane Lee. As you can see, it's still tracking up to the north. It's lost a lot of its convection, and you know, to me, it seems like it's losing its warm core a little bit. But you know, those hurricane hunters, they've been dropping those dropsons into the storm and you know, finding the data there. So you know, they're still thinking it's still a warm core storm. But hey, thank you, Infinite Inspiration, or yeah, Inspirations. They say, good evening, Evan. I'll be continuing to tune in for your great coverage with this storm and many others. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate that. Everybody put birthday cakes in the chat for Infinite Inspirations. I do appreciate it a lot. Very helpful to the channel. But yeah, big swirly boy right now. Still a little bit of convection there. Still a warm core storm at this moment. Now we're going to be going over to the models here. Yeah, I timed them out because, you know, I'm a grifter, and, you know, whenever somebody pays me to do something, we're gonna do it. I'm just kidding. I just thought it was gonna be funny, and you know what? Barb Mac was right. Barb Mac was right. Mr. Top Fan was asking to get timed out all the way since the beginning of the stream, and trust me, he knows it's a joke. He's not taking it personally right now. He knows it's a joke. All right, so this is the GFS. You know, same kind of deal here. Still bringing it, you know, really close to Nova Scotia or right into the Bay of Fundy there, and then going into, you know, Canada there. So not much has changed. Looks like, you know, the most intense winds and rain is going to be 7 a.m. there. I think can be bought. That's funny. And I've actually turned down like multiple ads so far. But yeah, so that's the latest there. So you know, make sure you're paying attention to those timings for both of those regions. And then moving this is the Euro model. Euro model has us a little bit more to the west now. Then it kind of takes a turn to the east, sorry, and then kind of takes a little bit of a turn to the west and then goes into the Nova Scotia area. So if we bring both of these and compare and contrast, you can see that they are making landfall kind of at the same area here. Coming over to the CMC model though, it's also bringing it into the same spot, comparing and contrasting. You know, not a whole lot of model spread anymore. You know, we're pretty confident about all this. So we're going to be using the GFS here in just a second to be looking at the winds and the wave heights and giving you guys the updated impacts there. And with the icon still, you know, kind of in the same region here, still a lot of agreement on all of these. Oh, Mr. Top Fan, you're back. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, because I accidentally hid you. Hold on, let me give you your moderator stuff back. There we go. I'm sorry, Mr. Top Fan. I didn't mean to ban you. It was a mistake. I promise. All right, let's come over to here. Let me just do something really quick. that, and that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so looking at the storm here, this is the H-Mon model. And then pushing this forward, you can also tell that it is making landfall right around in the same area here. So it's definitely seeming like Nova Scotia is going to be the place where this thing is either going to make landfall or get very close to and bring the most significant impacts in terms of that wind and rain with this storm. So let's come back over to here to the GFS. And then let's go and look at these different parameters here just to see what the updated impacts are with this storm. So right here you can see got this hurricane making its way up to the north, and then the most dangerous winds are really going to be pulling into the Cape Cod region, a little bit below what there were yesterday for the GFS there. But it brings it into at around 7 a.m. there, September 16th, for the Cape Cod Bay region and Nantucket there, and then as it gets into the Nova Scotia region where we're expecting some of the bigger impacts, you can see we had 52 to 56 right off the coast there, knots, which is around 60 miles per hour. Probably gusting up to hurricane force by around 1 p.m. there for Nova Scotia. And then moving this all the way through, you see that low pressure system goes right into the Bay of Fundy there and then moves off to the east towards Prince Edward Island, which we do have here. We'll go over the later impacts here for Canada, and then we'll also go look at the UK if we can. We should be able to. At least I'm hoping that we can get a zoomed in view and look at some of these different models in that regard. But yeah, so there's that. Coming over to the significant wave height, not too much has changed here either, except a little bit of a downtrend, small downtrend, not really significant. There's not too much difference between a 15 and a 19 foot wave there, but for Nantucket, it's downtrended a little bit there. Looking like around 13 to 15 feet for Nantucket for those waves. And then again, still the most significant wave impacts are going to be up there near Nova Scotia and potentially right there in the Bay of Fundy. But unfortunately, that's not popping up. The Bay of Fundy is not really popping up there on this map, which kind of sucks. Seems to be a little data hole with this product, which is fine. But yeah, just expect that waves can get a little bit more elevated there, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's definitely not going to be the biggest thing that we are seeing with this storm. And then let's go over to the total accumulated precipitation here and just kind of see what the latest is on this. Yeah, still looking like 2 to 5 inches there for extreme southeastern Maine, and that tracks into Canada itself with about 2 to 4 inches of rain there for Canada, and about 1 to 2 inches, or no, sorry, about 0.5 to 1.5 inches there for Nova Scotia. So not too much rain. Most of the rain being focused here into Maine, into the mainland Canada there. And then yeah, so let's come over to here now and kind of look down the line here for Prince Edward Islands and New Brunswick. And if we come over back over to the 10-meter winds here, we can take a look at that. All right, so as you can see here, there's the storm, and as it makes its way, I don't know what that area is called, but I know Prince Edward Island is right there, so it looks like it's gonna come pretty close to Prince Edward's Island, and bring some wind impacts. Maybe up to tropical storm force winds are gonna be possible there for Prince Edward Island, and then as we get into near New Brunswick, we're gonna be seeing 20 to 28 mile which could get up into the 30s, so maybe some tropical depression force winds, maybe some gusts up to tropical storm force winds are going to be possible there for you with this storm. Looking at the wave heights here, see if we can look at that for you guys. Wave heights, where are they again? Oh yeah, I forgot, they don't have it for out here. So yeah, we can't look at wave heights, unfortunately, but they're not going to be nearly as strong as they are when they go into Nova Scotia. They're still going to pack a little bit of a punch, but they're not going to be nearly as strong. So just keep that in mind. Definitely some beach erosion. Definitely want to stay away from those beaches out there into Nova Scotia. as well. So let's change this region on over to like the UK area out here. There we go. See what this thing does down the line. Is that it right there? Yeah, it is. All right, so there it is. It looks like, at least on the GFS, it takes it just to the north of the UK. But again, keep in mind, we got model spread from this far out with this storm, you know, all the way from northern UK all the way down to south of the UK. So just keep that in mind, as there are still some model discrepancies here. But it does seem like, you know, once this thing approaches, it's potentially going to have some tropical storm force winds. But you know, is this part of the UK too? Hurricane Lee might hit Maine tomorrow. No, it's not going to landfall in Maine. It's going to make landfall in Nova Scotia, or in between Nova Scotia and Maine, in the mainland Canada. That's Ireland. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if it hits Ireland, it's gonna drastically weaken before it makes the UK. So you know, probably some of the more intense impacts are gonna be like, even on a northerly trek, could get some more intense impacts down here to the south. You know, that's tropical storm force winds there for southern UK. But again, this is only one model run, and you know, if we come back over to here, you can look at the model spread. You know, we're talking maybe to the north, maybe to the south. There is some solutions that still take it into Ireland as well. This one has a much larger model spread here, so you know, impacts are not guaranteed with this storm for the UK. And as you can see, the GEFS model also has a pretty large spread as well. So definitely something, you know, if you live in the UK, keep your eye on it. I'm sure, you know, over the next couple of days, you know, your Mets are probably already talking about it now as well. Let's go back over to here. I do want to check in on this cam really quick. So we got people fishing, or about to go fishing in a little tiny boat when the waves are going to be picking up in the winds. Hopefully they're coming back and not leaving. And hopefully they're not bringing that boat into the ocean. Yeah, which one's New Brunswick? Generic Canada. Sorry, I'm really not familiar with the you know, how all that works, or all those regions names. I'm sorry. I'm your typical stupid American that, you know, all the Canadians chuckle at. Like, this American doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know our city names and our province names. I'm sorry. You should see how I pronounce even some of the our own country's names. Yeah, perfect time to fish, right as those tropical storm force winds and waves start to arrive. What if the fish are going to be biting with that in this scenario? Oops, this is all the way out there. Let's come back over to here. Anybody got any questions, by the way? Where is it going to rain a lot? We can look at that. So here is the most rain is going to go most likely into like the northern part here. Is this New Brunswick? I'm assuming. Rain for Scotland this week. Typical weather for us. Yeah, it's not going to be, no matter what happens, it's not going to be bad impacts. Okay, so this is New Brunswick. Okay, so most of New Brunswick is going to be getting the most rain. So then what is this over here? What's this little island? We need storm chasers to go out in the ocean and post now. Ooh, and that'd be pretty dangerous. I mean, there's going to be swells out there up to 30 to 40 feet. You didn't get a notification? Nah, that sucks. Yeah, I don't know why some people don't get notifications. Some people do, some people don't. I don't know. Yeah, what is this area over here, Heather? Is this also New Brunswick? This little guy? Let me, it would be this island. Oh, it's Newfoundland. Ah, see, I'm learning. Yeah, but most of the rain is going to be there for the New Brunswick region. We're talking about 2 to 4 inches. You know, for most, like in this dark green and the yellow is 4 to 6 inches, and in the light green is 1 to 2 inches. YouTube mess. Yeah, YouTube is a mess. It's the first time you haven't gotten a notification. Huh. You would join again, but YouTube is not even accepting your card for some reason. That's weird. Literally just use it. Huh. I don't know. Sounds like YouTube is acting up, which usually happens. Prince Edward Island. I mean, they're going to get some impacts, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. Let's see. Let's go bring this guy back over to that region. If I can remember where it was. It's not that one. There we go. Southeast Canada. So yeah, Prince Edward Island can, you know, expect tropical storm force winds, maybe some couple wind gusts up to like 40 to 50 miles an hour are possible, but it'll probably stay lower than that. You know, some power outages are going to be possible, but again, this is nowhere near like Hurricane Fiona at all. So, you know, don't be thinking that's coming. You know, some increased waves. I wouldn't be surprised for some storm surge for you guys, especially, you know, on the southern facing parts of Prince Edward's Island. But mainly just tropical storm force winds and tropical storm force wind gusts. And if we go over to the current rain or to the rainfall, very minimal rain from this storm, maybe 1 to 2 inches there on the western part of Prince Edward Island. See where our airplane is. Still making it over there. Not quite there just yet. Geography is another one of your passions. Oh, gotcha. What do I think for the storm surge near Nova Scotia? This should be on one of these graphics, or maybe not. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have any access to graphics, but I would assume it would be very similar to the peak surge that's going to be happening over for Maine. So potentially, you know, maybe a little bit more than 1 to 3 feet because it's going to be on the dirty side of the storm. So, you know, keep that in mind. Could potentially be over 1 to 3 feet, but I'm sure your Mets are already releasing data on that. I just don't have access. I don't have a lot of like Canadian links saved on my computer right now. Hey, thank you, Barb Mac, for the 5 gifted memberships. Holy moly. That is a whole lot. And Mr. Top Fan got one. See, you know, you thought you were getting bullied. Now look at you getting gifts. But thank you, Rob. I'll answer that here in just a second. But guys, make sure that if you get a membership that you are thanking Barb Mac for the membership. All right, so let's come back over here. But then, yes, thank you very much, Barb Mac. That's a lot of money, and I really do appreciate it. That is very, very nice of you. So thank you very much. Let's see here. We had a question. Let's see. Question from Rob Ingram. When is it supposed to leave Nova Scotia? Okay, so we got to come over to this guy. So, you know, it's mainly going to be impacting Nova Scotia. You know, it's really going to start to pick up. So it's where it's going to start here. It's going to be at around 1 a.m. on September 16th there. And it's going to continue throughout the 16th into the 17th. And then right around here is when things are going to start calming down for Nova Scotia at around 1 p.m. on the 17th. And then, you know, once this continues to move off to the east, you know, it's going to really calm down. You know, basically, it's going to be a distant memory of the past there by 1 a.m. of September 18th, as you won't really be feeling any more impacts from this storm. Maybe still a little bit of riptide there for, you know, southern or I guess northern Nova Scotia, northeastern Nova Scotia could still be possible. I did said sorry. I said sorry like 3 times. Hello, Sheena. Welcome. You're sick too? I've been hearing a lot of people get sick. Luckily, I still haven't gotten it. Don't have money to get a membership. I understand. I don't either. This is your second membership. You have 2 memberships on 2. Oh, wow. I feel honored. Thank you very much. How does it look on visible satellite? We can look at that. Here's true color here. Getting a little bit darker, but man, look how big this storm is. My goodness. And there's outer bands. So, I mean, if you're getting clouds, if it's cloudy and you live in like Rhode Island, Nova Scotia, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Long Island there, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, you know, New Brunswick, that's all from this storm, which is still, you know, kind of parallel to Maryland and Delaware, where its central center of pressure is. So this is a big old storm. Really big storm. Very impressive look on it. Really happy that this is not making direct landfall. You know, as a hurricane in the United States, not so happy that, you know, there's a lot of folks out here, you know, in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia that are going to be getting some of the bigger impacts from this storm. But again, pretty relieved that it is not another Fiona. And we covered that storm last year, and that was a pretty hectic time for you guys out there. It seems like you guys are getting more of these threats more often, like once a year for the past 2 years. Looks more like a nor'easter. It does kind of look like a nor'easter. You're right. Let me try to get like a better region here. What if, is there like an eastern or western Atlantic or like an East Coast view here? Atlantic wide. That's pretty cool. Oh, also, I wanted to show you guys this. We're actually starting to see some of these outer bands show up on radar. So some rain is now approaching. This is when, you know, probably going to get a little bit heftier winds than you're already feeling right now with this rain and wind. Is slowly approaching the Nantucket region and the Cape Cod Bay area there for Massachusetts. And also over here near Nova Scotia, we already have flood warnings in New Brunswick. That's interesting. Or rainfall warning. Never mind. That's a little bit different. But yeah, some rain is moving into the Halifax region and Yarmouth. Those winds are probably getting a little bit gustier. Probably not tropical storm force winds just yet. And you got a heavier rain band, probably or just about 81 miles off the coast there. Also, just a little checkup. We do have this storm here. Still a lot of model discrepancy exactly where this is going. So take, you know, this portion of the line of this storm with a grain of salt. But, you know, if you live in La Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, Guadeloupe, Barbados, and those regions, this storm is going to go to the north of you guys. We do have confidence with that. So you guys are going to be good to go there. Maybe some increased surf, like our increased riptides, maybe, but it should be way too far away from that. And it's not going to be like a big widespread storm as this one is. Let's see if we can get any more details from any of these other radars. Ugh, just too far out. Too far out. But yeah, you can see, you know, by around 1 p.m. on Saturday, or yeah, on Saturday, that is when we're expecting this thing to be right off of the port, or right off of Yarmouth, Shelbourne, and then, you know, it can also potentially make landfall over here near Digby or St. John. Those are kind of the areas that we're watching. Yeah, another major hurricane. I would take the intensity with a grain of salt as well, but it could happen. Let's see here. Let's come back to the close-up view here. Sure hope people can on their boat aren't going too far. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, let's go check back in on that. So yeah, again, this is the current conditions out here for Cape Cod Bay, Massachusetts. As you can see, the winds are kind of picking up there. If you see that little flag on like the middle left of the screen, there's a couple little flags on those boats. You can see that they're definitely flapping. A couple more cabs. Try to find a few more cams. Let me see here. I'm not sure any of them are really going to give us. We might be able to look. I don't know if we have any cams in Nova Scotia. That would be interesting. Hold on. I am curious if there is. Ooh. Some cams in New Brunswick. Oh, well, that one's not working. There's another one near Amherst in New Brunswick. Oh, that's the Bay of Fundy. Ah, it's not working. Darn. Yeah, this is probably the best cam that we have for now. Maybe they're pulling the boat out of the water. That's a possibility. Left a large tarp pallet. Nova Scotia back in May. I'm guessing it's not going to be there when we get back. It's possible. It's possible. It could still be. I mean, the winds aren't going to be too strong, but you know, if it's not tied down in any form of fashion, then. Any cams on Nantucket? There is 2 cams. Well, actually, there's multiple. Hold on. I didn't see these before. Ooh, we got a cam with trees in Nantucket. If it'll work. It's taking a while to load. It's currently not loading. There's some other cams though. Let's see. Whaling Museum. Oh, I've been there. Is that inside or outside though? No, so it was a joke. Barb Mac gave $10 or 10 euros and said the timeout, Mr. Top Fan, because like Mr. Top Fan was talking about getting timed out for so long. And so it was a little joke, but I accidentally, instead of doing the timeout button, I accidentally pressed the ban button. But so we fixed it though. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's a cam in Nantucket with some trees in it. So let me get that set up here. This is the current conditions here in Nantucket. And yeah, it's pretty breezy there already. Pretty breezy. We'll keep it here for a little bit. Let me change the name here. Nantucket. MA. I've been to Nantucket before. My, I think it was my grandpa's friend. I used to live out here, and we would go visit him. He would take us blue fishing. And it's really cool because a lot of these buildings, it's not in this area, but a lot of the buildings in Nantucket are like the same. Because it's like a building code. They're all kind of built very similar. We got a new severe thunderstorm watch. Yeah, we'll go check that out. Yeah, we are expecting some severe weather for Texas and New Mexico. And there we go. So let's come back over to here. So we got a new severe thunderstorm watch for Las Vegas, New Mexico, Roswell, Carlsbad, Tucumari, Clayton, also in Texas for Dalhart, Amarillo, Lubbock. You guys are now in a severe thunderstorm watch. We are expecting some storms to start to fire out here. Let's kind of go check out that. Let's see if there's anything happening yet. Over here, we do have a storm. We also have a 2% tornado risk down here for Midland, Big Lake, Kermit, Big Spring, Hobbs, Levelland, and Clovis. And we already got a severe thunderstorm warning south of Clayton, New Mexico. little bit of rotation there, but a lot of that is side lobe contamination. 1.5-inch hail, though, on this storm, which I think is ping pong ball-sized hail. Yes. With 60-mile-per-hour winds, and that is heading down to the south and east towards Amistad. So if you live in Amistad, New Mexico, you need to be indoors and away from windows. And again, these storms are going to be firing kind of along this boundary. And there's a small tornado risk. Also just got another severe thunderstorm warning down here as well. But that storm's kind of just disintegrated there. So probably not going to get much more than just wind out of that unless it refires. But, you know, any one of these storms could become severe there for Texas. You have family in Lubbock? Well, let them know they're under a severe thunderstorm watch. You know, again, not expecting anything too crazy. This seems like they're out of the tornado risk, but definitely, you know, small chance for severe weather out there for, you know, this region. Or not a small chance, a little bit more elevated than a small chance. I would say like a medium chance for severe weather in this area. It's going to be hit or miss. It's not going to really be like a big consolidated line. But yeah, you know, there is a small chance that one of these things could tornado. In fact, I think Vince Welty is going to be over here streaming. He could already be streaming. I'm not exactly sure, but, you know, if you want to check that out and check in on the storms down here and see some pretty awesome storms, Vince should be out there. Yeah, that's the latest update there. If we come over to the Storm Prediction Center, so you can see we do have a slight risk out there. That is pretty much where that 2% tornado risk was. And then we have a marginal risk around that for a lot of Texas, almost going all the way down into the Houston area there, you know, for Lubbock and also Amarillo and parts of New Mexico. Again, got that 2% for tornadoes. Winds, damaging winds isn't going to be too much of a threat with a 5% on that. But the hail risk is going to be the biggest thing with this storm. 15% chance on that same area where that 2% tornado risk is for that quarter-sized hail. And, you know, we're already seeing stuff above that with the 1.5-inch hail or the ping pong ball-sized hail as well. And then we have a little marginal risk over here for Iowa and Missouri going into Illinois as well. No tornado risk on this day yet, but that could change. Got a 5% for damaging winds and a 5% for hail. Looking at 3 days out from now, looks like we got a little marginal risk over here for the North Carolina region. Let's go see what this airplane is doing. Nice to see you too, Karen. Welcome. All right, looks like it's picking up some data here. It is getting pretty close to the center of the storm with not quite there, though. Kind of on the outskirts, and even on the outskirts, could potentially already be picking up that the tropical storm force winds, which is what we are expecting with this plane this far out from the center, because, you know, that where those winds are with this storm are pretty large. And in fact, if we come over to here, I can show you guys just how big the wind field is currently with this storm. It's actually expanded a little bit. So if we come over to the current wind field, look at it. It's huge. I mean, we're talking from Nantucket down to here, 634 miles, from here over to here, 617 miles, and from here over to here, 519 miles. So it still is a very wide storm here, and also hurricane winds extending out to 185 miles from the storm. So still a pretty large storm there. Hello, Greedy Axolotl, welcome. By the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. It does help you find the channel again in the future if you want any coverage in the future. I mean, we try to have these live cams like this one here in Nantucket. When we do live coverage, we are going to be doing live coverage of this storm tomorrow for the landfall. Maybe I'm considering maybe doing one tonight, but I'm not sure. Like one later, but I'm not sure if that's. I mean, it would just be for like tropical storm force winds there in Massachusetts. And I think you guys got that handled. But in terms of like the actual landfall for, you know, the Nova Scotia region, we will be live for that tomorrow. I mean, the cloud from Hurricane Lee. All right. Yeah, it's a big old storm. But yeah, look at these winds here in Nantucket. They're really picking up. Look at that tree. So those are those tropical storm force wind gusts already starting to make it into the region here. So if you live in Nantucket, you know, from here on into tomorrow, you know, be watching out for those power outages because things are getting started. I wouldn't be surprised if they canceled that game, Karen. It is not heading towards Long Island. You might get some tropical storm force winds here in the next couple of hours, but the center of the storm, as you can see, is way off the coast here, way off the coast, and we're expecting it to make landfall over here in Nova Scotia. Any tornado threat with the hurricane? Potentially for Nova Scotia, but we don't have any graphics on that. Typically on the northwest quadrant of these storms, you could get some tornadoes out of it, like water spouts making landfall there. We unfortunately don't have. We'll be able to monitor it as it makes landfall because there are some radars out there. So if we come back over to here, you can see we do got radar. So when this thing gets close to landfall, we'll be able to see, you know, if there's any rotation with any of those storms as they make it into land. But yeah, it'll be mainly on that northeast quadrant. Can I look at Canada, Ontario? Sure. Can look at that for you real quick. Canada, Ontario. Where in Ontario though? I'm assuming you're talking about up here where these storms are. Over here near Thunder Bay, got some pretty strong storms down there. Not seeing a whole lot of rotation in them right now. Also got a severe thunderstorm warning up here in Canada. Heading just to the south of Minitree, going to Onaman Lake. Then we got another one headed towards Lake Nipigon. Nipigon. It's a cool name. Maybe a little bit of rotation on this storm right here heading towards Sturge Lake, but not enough yet to concern me. Yeah, mainly just you know, a couple little instances here of some stronger storms in a pretty unpopulated region here of Ontario. Let me check around close to London. Yeah, nothing's happening over here down towards London right now. No storms that I can tell. Yeah, no storms. You're good to go there. Oh, it's your bedtime. Okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah. Hopefully Mr. Top Fan didn't get too upset. Teal 73 is in Hurricane Lee, but I don't see an NOAA plane. So if we come over to here, we have it over here. And there's the plane right there. It is AF 305. Not sure which plane. I'm not sure if like that's like the tail number you're calling out there. But it's the AF 305 mission at least. And it is currently in Hurricane Lee right now getting data. Let's see if we have any new updates. No new updates on it just yet. Look at Twitter. Like messages? Ah. Where was this taken, Mr. Top Fan? Hello, Storm Chaser Garrett Thompson. How you doing? Has Chad ever seen the wings? Yes. Yes, they have seen the wings. I usually turn my cam off when I eat, though. Hopefully all is well, Garrett. Yeah, we haven't had really many long streams this month. It's been a while since we've been able to eat on stream because we just really haven't anything to cover. But tomorrow, maybe I'll order wings. I don't know. They're kind of expensive. I've got to be super financially aware this month as just to make sure that we got enough money going into October. All right, well, Mr. Top Fan did send me something here. I just don't know exactly where this is, but this is probably the edge of Hurricane Lee. A lot of people were like taking pictures like this as it approached, and you know, it looks pretty cool. It's like a very defined edge of clouds there. That is the edge of Hurricane Lee. That would have been, let's see, bring up the, yeah, that would have been this edge. Yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures on Twitter where it's just like blue skies, and then you see like this little white, like almost perfect edge in the sky. A lot of people have been reporting that, and that is that outer outflow of the storm. Wow, look at the clouds now in the background. It's starting to get a little bit of a sunset, maybe. Yeah, I have lots of clouds. They're Trenton, New Jersey. Gotcha. Hello, Storm Chaser Garrett. I don't care if I'm first or last. I'm just glad you said hi. Yeah, do we got any more questions? Again, we got all the stuff here, all the information, all the data on this storm, even on the severe weather, if you're interested in that right now. We got all the latest information from the National Hurricane Center, the tracks into the future going into the UK and Canada. So yeah, if you guys got any more questions, feel free to ask. Let's see if we got an update here yet. We do have an update. Looks like those winds are picking up at flight level, not necessarily picking up just yet on the surface, though. Yeah, those flight level winds are upwards to 60 knots right now. Still not in the center of the storm, though. Oh my gosh, I remember that, dude. What isn't that what is that called? What area was that? Yeah, the Sable Island Migratory Bird Sanctuary. So when we covered Fiona, we figured out that there's like a bunch of wild horses on this island, and we were worried about them, but it ended up all of them survived. So that was good, and it was like pretty crazy waves happening around that island there. But the horses are smart, you know. They were able to figure out that, oh wow, these are bigger waves than usual. Oh wow, the water's coming up. And they got out of the way in the highest point of the island, and I think all of them survived, if my memory is serving me correctly. Any more questions? Let's go back to Nantucket. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. Oh, wow. Here's a nice little gust coming into Nantucket. Yeah, it's a cool little planter thing there in the middle of the road. You're right on that. Seems to be intact with no major scratches, so it does seem like most people, at least, aren't hitting it. Definitely not something that you would think would survive if you had any drunk drivers, though. Over 100 likes. Can we see Chaz? Oh my goodness. Chazzy, I guess this is gonna become a thing. fine. We made it to 100 likes. Here's Chaz. What? Say hi. Why are you so upset? Oh, you camera shy. What's the matter? Stop. What? Let's do that. Why? Thanks for the kiss, though. I do appreciate it. Yes, thank you for the 100 likes. All right, let's come back over to here. He knows where the food is, where the food goes. That's why he always tries to lick me there. He's like, you got anything in particular? Yeah, no problem. Hey, it's a good trade. Liking the stream helps me reach more people, so I do appreciate it. Yeah, just in case you're tuning in, this is Nantucket, Massachusetts, where we're already starting to see tropical storm force winds, and yes, this is coming from Hurricane Lee right now. Okay, Mr. Top Fan, you could drop it. It was an accident. I already apologized. I'm sorry. I don't know what more I could say. Literally been talking about it the entire stream. Yeah, no problem, Mr. Top Fan. Anytime. It's okay, Colton. He knows it's a joke. He's just being a drama queen right now. Hope not, Storm Chasing Network. That would not be good. Yeah, good night, dude. Hopefully everything over there in Canada is all right for you. Thank you, Dallas. I appreciate that. Drama King, okay. Yeah, no problem. But all right. That's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in on what's definitely going to be the last Hurricane Lee forecast. Next time you see me, it's going to be a Hurricane Lee nowcast. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have subscribed during this stream, I do appreciate that as well. And I hope that all of you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, Mr. Top Fan, I am sorry. But yeah. If you're just now tuning in and you're like, wait, don't go, I still want to see a forecast from my region. We went over all of that at the beginning of the stream, so you can always go back to the beginning of the stream and see that. But thank you, Mr. Top Fan and Blondie. Everybody put hearts in the chat for Blondie and Mr. Top Fan, as we do appreciate you guys modding. And also, thank you to Barb Mac for the gifted subs and the $10 donation and Infinite Inspirations for the $4.99 donation. I do appreciate that as well. But you guys have a good rest of your night, and hopefully Hopefully, if you live in the immediate area of where the storm is going to be impacting, hopefully you guys don't get like any really bad impacts or power outages or anything. Remember, make sure you have that cash, that water, that food, non-perishable food on you. Make sure your dogs are safe and taken care of. And yeah, I will see all of you guys in the future, probably tomorrow evening or tomorrow morning. Just depends on what this storm ends up doing. It could speed up a little bit or it could slow down a little bit, so the time's not 100% definite, but I will let at least the people in the Discord know what time I'll be going live, and everybody all like everybody that's a mod and everything. I'll try to let you guys know on YouTube too, but yeah, take it easy, and I'll see you guys when I see you again.